Welcome back to our jury. Do you feel refreshed, having had a few days off? No? Yes? Maybe? All right, so just so we're clear for the record, I reviewed all your admonitions with you again before I released you last week, and I just want to make sure everyone has been able to follow those admonitions over the weekend and your days off and ready to go with the same open mind, having not done any research, talked to anybody, formed any opinions, correct? All right, not viewed any media. All right, everyone is able to say yes to that, so we will proceed with, on last week, or actually Monday, the state rested their case. We did that out of your presence for a lot of different reasons, but that has happened, and so we are moving into the defense case at this time. And this witness was unable to be here in person, so we will be doing a video witness today, which will be our first time doing that. But this testimony is the same as any other testimony. You view it as if he's sitting in that witness chair. Okay? And I'll also note that the attorneys have kind of agreed, because of the limited times that our witness has, to share that time. So we should be done by 11 with this witness. We might not take a break. If anyone needs to take a break, let us know, okay? But otherwise, we might power through in order to respect his time. So, sir, can you raise your right hand, my witness? Mr. Husted, how are you? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, you can put your hand down. So, just real quickly, there are admonitions that have been issued in this case, and each of the parties have been asked to share those with their witnesses. Have you had an opportunity to review those, and do you understand those?
I do.
Okay. And have you viewed any portion of this trial up until now?
No.
Okay, very good. You may proceed and have your witness introduce himself, etc.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir. My name is Steve Grimes, and I represent Mike Dowling. Could you, sir, just please state your name and just give a brief introduction of who you are professionally to the jury?
My name is Jon Husted, and I presently serve as one of Ohio's U.S. Senators.
Thank you, Senator Husted. Before you were put into the senator position, could you give us an overview of what your elected position was before that?
Prior to becoming the U.S. Senator, I was the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Ohio.
And I won't go all the way back in your career, but could you give us one more official position before that one?
Sure. I was Secretary of State, State Senator, Speaker of the Ohio House, and a State Representative.
Thank you, sir. In our time today, we're going to talk about your duties as the Lieutenant Governor to the state of Ohio. So when were you elected Lieutenant Governor of the state of Ohio?
In November of 2018, I believe.
Okay. And was it a close election, sir?
Yeah, it was a competitive election.
Do you recall around that time frame, so in late 2018, attending a dinner with Chuck Jones and Mike Dowling from FirstEnergy?
Yes.
And at the time of that dinner, in roughly late 2018, how did you know Mr. Jones and Mr. Dowling?
They were executives with one of Ohio's large utilities that was headquartered in Akron, Ohio.
And did you have a personal relationship with them, or was it more of a professional campaign-related relationship?
Well, it was a professional relationship in the sense that I worked on economic development and energy issues.
And I know it was a long time ago, sir, but by chance, do you remember the logistics, sort of the who, what, and when, and where of that dinner meeting?
It was at the athletic club, which is a place where I worked out, so that's the reason I remember the location.
Okay. And that's in Columbus, Ohio?
Yes.
Do you happen to recall, sir, or would it sound right to you that that meeting took place, that dinner meeting took place on December 18th, 2018?
I wouldn't know the date, but it was sometime after the election and before we took office.
Sir, if you wouldn't mind, I believe you have a binder in front of you. If you could look at tab 1 of that binder and just see if that happens to refresh your recollection on the specific date of the dinner meeting.
Sorry, what is tab 1?
It is Defense Exhibit 2654.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have no reason to dispute that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do you recall who attended that dinner meeting, Senator?
I remember the governor was there, and I remember FirstEnergy was there. I know Chuck Jones was. I don't know who else exactly was there. There may have been others, but that's what I recall.
Do you know a person by the name of Josh Rubin?
I do.
Is it possible Mr. Rubin was at the dinner with you?
Yes.
Okay. And just in terms of professional responsibilities, who was Mr. Rubin at that time?
He had worked for Governor DeWine in the past and was, somebody who was around the campaign.
What was the purpose of that dinner meeting?
I don't precisely know. I did not organize it, but it was, I think that basically it was that FirstEnergy was going to be in town and they wanted to say hi and congratulate us on winning.
Were those types of congratulatory dinners following an election something that were commonplace for you and the governor following the election?
Yeah, somewhat.
And again, I know it's a long time ago, but do you recall anything about the specifics of what was discussed at that dinner meeting?
I don't.
Do you recall whether there were specific discussions about the PUCO during that dinner meeting?
I don't recall anything that was discussed during the meeting. The only thing I can recall is that Governor DeWine was not feeling well.
Okay. In your experience in the world of politics, would it have been commonplace for executives like Mr. Jones and Mr. Dowling to ask something of you and the governor in a congratulatory meeting like that?
Not really.
Okay. And why is that?
I don't know. It's just not common.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. We'll move to a different topic. Can you help the jury understand just the types of decisions and preparations that the incoming DeWine administration was going through in late 2018 and early 2019 as your transition team had moved from the election into coming into the official roles?
Essentially, it's an incredibly busy time. You go from election to trying to establish an entire state government, which includes dozens of cabinet appointments and even more deputy officials, board appointments. So there are hundreds of positions you have to fill, your staff, everything, and you have 2 months to do it, so it's a pretty chaotic period.
Do you recall, Senator, if any of those appointments related to the PUCO?
Yes, there were 1 or 2 appointments, I think, that need to be made to the PUCO.
Do you recall, sir, what the process is or was at that time for filling PUCO seats?
Well, the official process is that the PUCO nominating committee collects resumes. They evaluate those individuals. I think they make 3 recommendations to the governor for appointment.
And again, long time ago, but any chance you happen to remember the application deadline for the PUCO applications in early 2019?
I don't.
All right, let me see if I could help you. Sir, if you could take a look at tab 2, which is State Exhibit 170. And I could direct you to the last page of that document, Senator. It ends in Bates number 146.
That's Bates number 902.
Pardon me, thank you. Bates number 902 on the top left, and in the bottom right corner, if you look there, it's number 146.
Page number 902.
really the first.
Are you seeking the applications are accepted until 5 p.m. on Thursday, January 17, 2019?
That's right. Does that sound generally right, Senator?
Seems you have no reason to dispute that.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, Senator, so between the election in November and this early January deadline that we just looked at, do you recall having any conversations with Mike Dowling concerning the PUCO seat?
Yes.
Okay. Generally speaking, what do you recall?
Well, just for context, I talked to lots of people from lots of different places about it at the time. Mike Dowling, as I recall, just was interested in knowing who the governor was considering for the position.
Do you recall Mr. Dowling expressing support on behalf of FirstEnergy for any particular individuals?
Yes.
Who do you recall Mr. Dowling expressed FirstEnergy's support for?
Jason Rayfeld.
Okay. And at that time, Senator Husted, did you know Jason Rayfeld? Was that someone?
I don't recall. I don't recall knowing him. I knew of him, but I don't know that I knew him personally.
Other than specific conversations with Mr. Dowling, did you come to learn that FirstEnergy supported Mr. Rayfeld through any other sources that you recall?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Again, not intending to be a memory test, but do you happen to recall if you spoke with Mr. Dowling on December 19th, 2018?
Yeah, I mean, I know I spoke with him during that period. What date it was, I don't know.
All right. Senator, let me see if I can just help refresh your recollection a bit. Take a look at tab 4 in your binder, which is State Exhibit 188. And if you look at the pages in the bottom right corner, if you turn to page 210 in that bottom right corner, just let us know when you're there.
What's the Bates number?
It is
1056.
1048 is the front page, and then 1056 is the specific page.
Thank you.
Are you with us, Senator Husted?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Okay, I see the page. Okay.
All right, so here we're looking at Mike Dowling's phone records for that period of time, and I won't make you say your phone number here in this public space, but you happen to see at around 5:21 p.m. and 5:46 p.m. that your phone number is there on Mike Dowling's phone records?
What page would you have me look at here?
Sure.
Sorry.
If you look at the bottom right corner of the document, it would end in 210. So
210.
260210.
Mr. Grimes, the state will stipulate to the call.
Thank you, sir. So we've got a stipulation here, Senator, that you were indeed on that call, so that's helpful and we can speed it up. Again, I assume I know the answer to this, but Senator, by chance, do you recall the specifics of that conversation that you had with Mr. Dowling on December 19th?
I don't.
Okay. Sir, if you could take a look at tab 5 in your binder, which is State Exhibit 456, which is Bates number 922. And if you look at the second page of that, there's a text message at 9:55. And I just ask you to review that to yourself and see if that helps refresh you at all about what the topic of that conversation was with Mr. Dowling on December 19th.
I'm looking at it. I don't remember the call, but it seemingly captures generally what I recall talking with him about.
Great. And generally speaking, what was your understanding of FirstEnergy's position as to who they wanted the PUCO chair to be as of December 19th, 2018?
Yeah, they were advocating for Jason Rayfeld.
And Was it important for members of the DeWine administration, including yourself, to understand who stakeholders out in the energy community, like FirstEnergy, were interested in for positions like the open one at the PUCO?
I think it's important to know what everybody thinks that on all those issues, and I believe my responsibility, as I recall at the time, was to gather all that information and share it with Governor DeWine.
And Senator, just because the folks at FirstEnergy supported Jason Rayfeld, did that mean that you were going to support Jason Rayfeld?
It does not, no.
Okay. Because the folks at FirstEnergy supported Jason Rayfeld, did that mean the governor was going to support Jason Rayfeld?
No, it did not.
And why not? Could you just kind of explain for the jury sort of the process that the administration went through in terms of collecting information and then making decisions?
As I'm going to recall from the time period, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of people we have to fill. We were looking for who was interested, who was qualified. That information was being gathered, but the official process ran through the PUCO nominating committee. And so it was just a matter of trying to find out all we could about the potential candidates.
What types of information were you trying to find out about potential candidates, if you recall?
Qualifications, balance of knowledge, things like that.
Okay. Now, at some point, Senator, in early 2019 timeframe, did Sam Randazzo's name come into the discussion of a potential candidate for the PUCO?
Yes.
Do you recall how his name came about?
I do not.
What did you, Senator, know about Sam Randazzo in that early 2019 timeframe?
Sam Randazzo was an attorney who represented utilities, who represented consumers. He was considered an industry expert.
Did any of the utilities other than FirstEnergy advocate for Sam Randazzo, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Did you, sir, play any role in helping the governor evaluate Sam Randazzo and the other candidates for that potential seat?
I tried to collect as much information as I could to give to the governor so that he could make a choice.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Meyer, will we stipulate to the January 9th, 2019 phone call between Mike Dowling and the senator as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the stipulation that Mike Dowling had another phone call with Senator Husted on January 9th. And then Senator Husted, if I could just ask you to take a look at tab 8 in your binder. And this is another text thread. I just asked you to take a look at the text message between Mike Dowling and Chuck Jones at 12:57 that same day, January 9th, with the same question. Does reviewing that happen to refresh your recollection at all about what the specifics of your conversation with Mike Dowling would have been on January 9th?
I mean, I don't remember the call, but I think it generally captures what I recall. What I recall was happening at the time, where we were putting a list together of people to review.
Okay. Is it fair to say, Senator, that as of January 9th, 2019, the administration was still in the process of vetting potential individuals for the PUCO seat?
Yes.
And to the best of your recollection, who was being considered as of roughly January 9th?
I don't recall. It was. I'll just say this: that there were names being assembled. They had to go through the PUCO nominating committee process, and whenever that occurred, that was the time frame for which the decisions were being queued.
Got it. And maybe I'm able to short circuit a couple questions in here, just to ask you directly. At any time in that process, before the PUCO nominating council, did FirstEnergy support anyone other than Jason Rayfeld, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. Long shot question here, Senator, but do you happen to recall meeting with Jason Rayfeld at your inauguration into the Lieutenant Governor role on January 14th?
I do not.
Okay.
Can I ask you,
Sure.
what exhibit did you have him look at regarding January 9th text?
Yes, I'm so sorry, Your Honor.
For the record, we should
Sure.
probably have that.
Thank you, Judge. It's Defense Exhibit 2685.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. All right. Mr. Meyer, can we stipulate that the applications were due on January 17th, 2019?
Certainly.
All right. And can we also stipulate, Mr. Meyer, that Senator Husted and Mike Dowling had another phone call on January 17th at 11:18 a.m.?
Yes.
All right. Again, Senator, I know it's a long time ago, but any chance you happen to recall having a conversation with Mike Dowling on the day that the PUCO applications were due on January 17th, 2019?
I don't.
Okay. Do you recall, sir, whether you or anyone in the administration, to your knowledge, communicated to Mr. Dowling around that time that the governor had decided to support Sam Randazzo and not Jason Rayfeld in that process?
I don't remember communicating that to anyone, no.
Okay. Did in fact, however, the governor decide around that time frame to support Sam Randazzo for the PUCO seat?
Yeah, I don't know when the governor made his decision, but there were active conversations of consideration going on.
Okay. Now, after it became public that Mr. Randazzo had applied for the PUCO position through the nominating council process, do you recall any groups or media outlets speaking out against Mr. Randazzo?
I do.
What do you recall about that?
I recall that one of the other utilities had sent maybe a letter or something to the governor criticizing Sam Randazzo as a potential appointment.
And do you recall being involved in any discussions about whether or not the administration would continue to support Mr. Randazzo despite this public critique?
Yeah, I think it was a situation where the governor wanted to, find out what was true, and we were trying to find out what the facts were.
And just to be clear, that when you said the other utility there, I assume you meant other than FirstEnergy? I assume.
Yeah, AAP.
Okay, thank you, sir. Senator Husted, who ultimately made the selection for the PUCO chair in early 2019?
The law requires the governor to make that selection.
What is your understanding, sir, of why Governor DeWine selected Sam Randazzo to be the PUCO chair?
Well, the way the governor makes decisions is he would have thought he was the most qualified person for the job.
How, if at all, did the fact that none of the Ohio utilities had supported Mr. Randazzo factor into the governor's decision, if you recall?
I can't speak for the governor.
All right. Do you recall that Mr. Randazzo officially began his term at the PUCO in April of 2019? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, whatever the legal requirements are, that's when it would have occurred, according to my memory.
Thank you. Senator, if I could ask you to turn to tab 13 in your binder. And Mr. Meyer, could we get a stipulation to the admissibility of Defense Exhibit 2759? All right, and so if we could please publish Exhibit 2759, but let's please not publish the senator and the other individual's personal contact information. And Senator, just take a second to review that, and we'll get the technology here so that the folks on the screen can see it as well. Senator, is this document an email that you sent?
So you're talking about 2759
That's right, sir. It should be tab 13.
and an article about New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania and Ohio and nuclear plants.
Exactly. Yes, thank you, sir. And do you see at the top of that article, it looks like you sent an email to Governor DeWine copying Sam Randazzo. Do you see that?
Yes.
And that was on March 17th, 2019.
Yes.
And just very generally speaking, could you just explain to us sort of what is the context of this discussion on top of this article?
This is about how New York and New Jersey had structured a plan to save nuclear power plants in those states, and that Pennsylvania and Ohio were facing similar decisions.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, you're right.
I thought we had it worked out where the exhibits would be on one side and the jury would be able to see Mr. Husted on the other side, and that's not what's coming up on Zoom or in the courtroom. So I don't know if there's something I need to do to fix that, or.
She's in charge of the Zoom back there, so she has to do it. We had it up a second ago.
Yeah, it was. Second it was.
Sorry, Senator, just one moment. We're working through some technical difficulties here.
It is on view all and not full screen, so.
So, right, if you all should show. How about that?
There we go.
All right, he's on there. I know what I did now. Got you.
Perfect.
Me.
No problem.
Every
Jess,
single
thank you.
time we do this, I have to hit that courtroom Zoom because that little courthouse picture comes up, so I'm just such a, all right, sir, apologies, go ahead.
Thank you,
You're
Judge.
our first video witness, so.
Thank you, Judge. Senator, by March 2019, what role was Sam Randazzo playing in terms of assisting the administration on energy-related issues?
He was an advisor to the governor and the cabinet.
Was it helpful?
I-
Apologies. Continue, sir.
No, it was just advising people about energy policy.
And was it helpful to you and the administration to have someone with Mr. Randazzo's energy expertise advising on those types of issues?
Yes, he understood them.
Okay. Senator, if you could please next turn to tab 14 in your binder. This will be Defense Exhibit 2761. Mr. Meyer, any objection to the admission of 2761? All right, so Senator, go ahead and just take a second to read that one, and we'll pull it up on the screen at the same time.
Okay?
All right, thank you, sir. Fair to say, Senator, that this email is another example from March 2019 of Mr. Randazzo advising the administration on energy-related issues?
Yeah, based on what I read, that's what it appears to be.
All right, and if I could, I just want to look at a few things and help, have you help us understand just a little bit here what's going on. If we could go to the third paragraph in the middle of the page there, Mr. Randazzo writes to you, I have also been meeting with a lot of stakeholders and working on filling key position vacancies at the PUCO. Do you see that sentence, Senator?
I do.
And what was your understanding of what type of stakeholders Mr. Randazzo would be meeting with in the March 2019 timeframe?
Stakeholders, meaning people who cared about the operations at the Public Utilities Commission.
Okay, like utilities, for example?
I imagine it included manufacturers, utilities, the people who, the producers and the consumers.
Great. And if we could go to the next sentence in that same paragraph, Mr. Randazzo writes, after putting them off for several weeks, I met with some guys from AEP this morning. And then that sentence goes on. Do you see that?
I do.
And again, specifically, do you have an understanding of why Mr. Randazzo might be meeting with the utility like AEP in this March timeframe before he officially took the PUCO role in April?
I presume it was in preparation for that role.
Great, thank you. And then last paragraph in that same email exchange, Randazzo wrote, last but not least, with encouragement of Dan McCarthy and others, I have been trying to help the Speaker's office assemble an approach to address clean air objectives that may be compromised if the existing nuclear plants are not viable without sensible assistance. In this role, I have been coordinating with your team. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. And what was your understanding of what Mr. Randazzo was talking about there?
Well, Dan McCarthy worked for the administration. He was our legislative liaison that interacted with the legislature on administration priorities. And the clean air piece was the fact that after the Paris Climate Accords and a number of environmental regulations, there was going to be a need to have a portfolio of zero carbon electricity to meet environmental standards. And so I assume, since the nuclear plants that are in question were zero carbon, that he was trying to figure out how to balance all of those needs.
Thank you, Senator. And is it fair to say that that type of outreach and discussion that Mr. Randazzo was having about these nuclear energy issues was being reported back to and coordinated with the DeWine administration?
Yes, because we were very interested in making sure that the nuclear power plants did not close.
And then once Mr. Randazzo began his official term in the administration, did he have any role in working on energy policy and energy legislation issues for the DeWine administration?
Yeah, I mean, we consulted with him about the conversations that were going on and what the best approach would be to try to find a balance.
And did that include with related to legislation that ultimately became known as HB 6?
Yes.
In your experience, Senator, did Governor DeWine rely on subject matter experts like Sam Randazzo and his administration for their knowledge, their expertise, and their guidance?
Yes.
And why did he do that, to your knowledge?
Well, you have to rely on experts to give you advice to make good decisions.
Okay. Thank you. Just one moment, sir. Senator, that is all the questions that I have for you this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No additional questions on behalf of Mr. Jones. I think we indicated beforehand that we would defer and have just one direct examination.
Good morning, Senator Husted.
Good morning.
My name is Matthew Meyer, and I represent the state of Ohio. I got a few questions to ask, if that's okay.
Great.
Are you happy to be here?
Thrilled.
Indeed. You've been called here as a defense witness on behalf of the defendants on trial here, Chuck Jones and Mike Dowling. Are you here in defense of them?
No,
What are you here for?
I was asked to be here to give answers to questions.
Okay. So I'd like to start with your experience and just walk through your resume as a public servant. I believe you were elected to the Ohio House of Representatives in 2000, is that right?
Yes.
And you served there until about 2005 when you were elected Speaker of the House?
You serve as a state rep, and then I was elected by the members of the legislature to serve as the speaker.
Yes, sir, thank you. And you served in that role until about 2009, correct?
Correct.
And then you moved over to the Ohio Senate in 2011?
Correct.
Or excuse me, 2009.
2009.
And I believe then you went on and were elected to become Ohio Secretary of State in 2011, is that right?
Yes, that would be the proper time frame for that.
And then
I was elected in 2010, took office in 2011.
Okay, thank you. And then you were elected Lieutenant Governor in 2018, as we've heard.
2018, took office in 2019.
Now, the job you held as Secretary of State, that was kind of a unique job, wasn't it?
You're the chief elections official for the state of Ohio, yes.
And one of the jobs of the Secretary of State is not just to administer that office, but you also held hearings, for instance, in statewide candidate protests. Is that right?
I guess, yes, that you would call that a hearing process.
Correct. And you were often called upon to cast tie-breaking votes in Board of Elections cases?
Yes.
And as the decision maker, it was your job to make fair decisions, wasn't it?
Follow the law, make fair decisions.
Without regard to wealth or status or privilege of the people whose cases were before you?
Correct.
And that's what Ohio should expect from their regulators, isn't it? That they don't improperly favor one side over the other?
Correct.
And that everyone, no matter how rich or powerful they might be, gets a fair shake?
Absolutely.
Now, in one of these candidate protests, where your office was holding a hearing, if one side wanted to reach out to you privately and tell you how to vote, that wouldn't be right, would it?
You can't have somebody reach out privately to talk to you about a hearing process.
That's not what Ohio should expect from its statewide public officials who have to decide these important issues, is it?
If that's what the law requires, then that's what you should do.
And that's what you did.
Yes.
Now, with your deep background in public service, I would gather that you're also familiar with Ohio's ethics laws, are you not?
Yes.
And you're familiar with the Ohio Ethics Commission?
Yes.
And you would know that public officials are required to publicly disclose their sources of income, correct?
Correct.
And likewise, if people owe them money or they're owed money, they have to disclose that?
If that's what the law says, sir, then that's what they need to do.
And you're familiar that companies that are regulated by Ohio's public officials also have to follow the ethics laws, right?
Correct.
They can't be improper sources who give substantial things of value to a public official?
Correct.
And throughout your career, you followed those ethics laws, didn't you?
Yes,
And you believe in those ethics laws?
I do.
And you expect Ohio's corporations and public officials to likewise follow them?
Yes,
And you wouldn't tolerate anyone within your administration of violating those ethics laws, would you?
no.
Now, you were asked about the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, and I want to talk about your familiarity with that agency. You would agree with me that that is one of Ohio's most important and powerful regulatory agencies?
It's very important.
And it sets the prices that Ohioans have to pay for electricity, doesn't it?
It does.
And these electric utilities, you know that those are monopolies, right?
They're regulated monopolies, yes.
And have you ever gone over to the PUCO itself and observed their hearing process or what happens over in that building?
I don't recall ever being at the PUCO offices, no.
Are you familiar with the mission of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio?
Yes, generally speaking, they're trying to balance all the issues.
All right. I'm going to show you a document. I don't know if it's been sent over to you or not, but maybe we can get it up on your Zoom screen. This is going to be, for the record, States Exhibit 1A, and it is Bates page 3, I believe.
No objection.
And I'll ask my colleagues if their system is up and running, if they can help me out with 1A. What's that? All right, Senator, can you see States Exhibit 1A?
Nope,
I can. I have it in front of me.
he's got it, but it's not on Zoom.
All right, we're working out the technical difficulties, so please bear with us, Senator. All right, there we go. So, have you ever seen that before?
I don't know if I've seen the particular sign, but I'm certainly aware of the general mission of the PUCO, and this seems solid.
Okay, and in fact, it's actually bolted to the wall. It is literally solid. Did you know that?
I didn't, but it looks solid in the photo.
All right. So, roughly speaking, the mission statement of the PUCO, one of the key missions there is to ensure adequate, safe, and reliable utility services at fair prices for all Ohioans. Is that a fair statement?
Yes,
And you agree with me, sir, that Ohioans should expect the PUCO to be independent?
yes, they should follow their mission.
And that the chair also must be independent?
Yes,
And it's not the job of the PUCO chair to favor the success of these regulated utilities over other Ohioans, is it?
no, it's not.
And that is not something that you would tolerate, sir, is it?
No,
Now, you were asked in your direct examination testimony about the DeWine administration that you served in, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Do you know a woman named Laurel Dawson?
I do.
And sir, how do you know Laurel Dawson?
She is the governor's chief of staff, or was the governor's chief of staff.
Okay. Did you know her husband, Mike Dawson?
I do.
Okay. You still know Mike Dawson?
Yes, I do.
And are you friends with Mike Dawson?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, were you aware that Mike Dawson was a paid consultant for FirstEnergy?
I was not.
Okay. So are you hearing this for the first time now?
I've heard it since that time. This is not the first time I've heard this, though.
Okay. Did you know that Mike Dawson, for a time, shared an office with Sam Randazzo?
I did not.
Mr. Husted, would it surprise you to know, or Senator Husted, would it surprise you to know that Sam Randazzo lent money to Mike and Laurel Dawson?
I learned of that recently.
Recently. Can I ask how you learned that?
Hold on.
I don't recall. I think someone.
Objection,
I think
sir.
someone maybe.
We need to be careful
Senator,
when
apologies,
we
just
get
real
in-
quick.
Hold on, we need to be careful when we get into that, because
Yes.
he's, aware of the admonitions, so I
Yeah.
don't know the answer to that question.
All right, Senator, but you learned of that recently.
I did.
You did not know about it at the time?
I did not.
And you wouldn't have known then whether or not anyone reported that loan to the Ethics Commission, would you?
I would not.
Were you aware, Senator, that Mike Dawson was providing information about what was happening within the administration to Mike Dowling,
I was not.
including sharing information about who your administration was favoring for the PUCO job?
I don't recall any of that. No, sir.
That's not something that you would have condoned or tolerated, would it be?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Yeah, I mean, if you had known this was going on, that's not something you would be okay with, would it? Mike Dawson providing inside information to FirstEnergy?
No, that wouldn't be something that I would have condoned.
Okay. And I believe you said in your direct examination testimony that you had a professional relationship with Mike Dowling?
Yes.
I mean, did you consider yourself friends with him?
He's somebody that I knew professionally since I had worked on issues. I was on the Public Utilities Committee when I was in the legislature. When I was Speaker of the House, I had worked on a variety of pieces of legislation, and so I got to know him professionally through those experiences.
Okay. And I think you were asked in your direct examination testimony about how you felt it was your job to gather all the relevant information about Mr. Randazzo or the other candidates for the job of PUCO chair?
Yes.
And it would be important to know all the relevant details about their financial entanglements, wouldn't it?
It would.
Because you wouldn't want Ohioans to think that the person your administration selected for the job of PUCO chair had secret financial relationships with one of these regulated utilities, would you?
I would not. And they should not.
And that dinner that you were asked about at the athletic club, just to set the stage, could you describe what the athletic club is like? I mean, are you guys meeting outside of a racquetball court?
It is, there's a gym there, there's a workout facility there, there's a restaurant there.
I mean, is it a nice restaurant?
I mean, it's a kind of a normal restaurant.
Wood paneling?
I don't recall the decor.
Okay. But it's a pretty nice social club, isn't it?
It's just proximity is close to the State House.
It's not like Planet Fitness or something like that.
I've never been in a Planet Fitness.
Okay. So you get together with this utility CEO and this utility lobbyist, and you have this conversation. At any point during that conversation, do Chuck Jones, the CEO of FirstEnergy, or Mike Dowling, the company's head lobbyist, tell you, we're going to hightail it over to Sam Randazzo's condo after this?
No.
And you wouldn't have been privy to any of those conversations that were going on behind the scenes between Sam Randazzo and Chuck Jones and Mike Dowling?
No.
And the next day when you had that phone call with Mike Dowling on the 19th, did he happen to mention that he was arranging to pay Sam Randazzo's shell company $4.3 million?
Objection,
No.
misstates the evidence, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did he happen to mention that he was working out a payment to Sustainability Funding Alliance of Ohio, a company with no employees owned by Sam Randazzo?
I don't know anything about that, sir.
Okay, so you had no knowledge of that payment?
No,
They didn't tell you?
no.
Now, given that it's your job to vet the candidates and gather all the information, as you sit here today, you would agree with me, sir, that they should have told you.
Objection.
Basis.
First, it misstates the evidence that he didn't say it was his job to do so, and he's also asking for a hindsight reflection. It's not relevant.
Well, he was asked these questions on direct. I have a right to explore it on cross.
I'll allow it.
Could you restate your question, sir?
Yeah, they should have told you this if they were doing this, right?
Yes, it's part of the process that should have been disclosed.
And you were asked about whether they publicly supported certain candidates, but you have no knowledge, do you, Senator, about what was going on privately and secretly behind the scenes, do you?
Objection. Misstates the evidence. We didn't ask about public support. We asked about support to the Lieutenant Governor.
Well, they very much asked who they were supporting.
To the Lieutenant Governor.
Sustained, restated.
Senator Husted, you don't know who they were privately supporting, do you? You're not here to testify about that, are you?
Sir, I've given you all the information that I have on it.
Okay. So you wouldn't be able to give us any testimony about their state of mind or motivations concerning their dealings with Sam Randazzo, would you?
I cannot, no.
Okay. You would agree with me that any undisclosed financial relationships could compromise the mission of the PUCO, wouldn't you?
Whatever the law requires is what they should do, and if it requires disclosure, that should have been done.
Okay. And you would agree with me that Ohioans shouldn't have to tolerate a chair who's compromised by secret financial dealings?
Objection, Your Honor.
With it.
Objection.
I haven't finished my question.
It's already objectionable.
Sustained.
You wouldn't tolerate a chair compromised by secret financial dealings with a utility they regulate, would you?
I would not, and I'm sure the governor would not either.
Now, you were asking questions about Mr. Randazzo's involvement in House Bill 6. Do you remember those questions?
Generally, yes, sir.
Okay. And you were, throughout your direct examination testimony, you were shown some text messages that you weren't a part of.
Are you talking to about the previous
Yes.
things that I would
Yeah.
review? Yes, yes.
You weren't part of these texts that you've been shown between Chuck Jones and Mike Dowling?
Don't recall it, and in anything that I saw, I didn't see my name in it.
Right. So, you talked about Sam Randazzo giving input on House Bill 6. Did you know that he had actually written portions of the law?
I did not.
You're finding out about that recently?
I still don't know that. If you tell me that that's true, I presume that you're telling me the truth.
No reason to disagree if that's the evidence in this case.
If that's what the evidence is, I don't dispute it.
Okay. And likewise, you'd have no knowledge of the communications that were going back and forth between Mike Dowling and Sam Randazzo throughout the summer of 2019 about House Bill 6 and what it was looking like to get it passed?
I don't.
I'm going to show you another exhibit. This is going to be State's Exhibit 274A, Bates page 2089. And that's not one I think that we sent over, so you'll have to look at the screen.
Any objections?
Just one second, Your Honor, I
Guess not.
apologize.
So,
Your Honor, I do have an objection. This is not something the Lieutenant Governor would have ever seen. He has no foundation to comment upon this.
basis, other than you want to show her?
Oh,
Sorry, I mean,
he was asked about the relationships concerning Sam Randazzo's involvement in House Bill 6.
right, I'm going to decline to have that exhibit shown to this witness. He had nothing to do with it. You can ask questions about it.
Sure. Senator Husted, are you familiar with the Mount Rushmore meme that displays Sam Randazzo, Matt Evans, Ty Pine, and Mike Dowling superimposed on the face of those American presidents in that mountain in South Dakota? Or is it North Dakota?
I'm not.
Okay, you've never seen that?
I've never seen it.
With the image F anybody? Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. He said he hasn't seen it. He's trying to put it into evidence after Your Honor already sustained an objection that he couldn't show it by
Sustained.
describing it in detail.
Sustained.
All right, you would agree with me, Senator, that the chair of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio should be independent, right?
They should be.
Objection asked and answered probably 3 times.
Sustained.
And Senator, us should not include.
Objection. He's asking about the document again.
I said he could ask about the content, so you'll have to explain that a little.
Yeah, Senator, us should not include utility lobbyists and the chair of the PUCO and the CEO of a regulated utility, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll allow him to answer if he knows.
Sir, I don't know what you're referring to, but in the context of your question, that's no. I guess the answer is no.
And you wouldn't tolerate that?
No.
And you don't think Ohioans should tolerate that, do you?
Objection.
I'll allow him to answer if he can.
Ohioans should expect the mission of the PUCO to be accomplished, as you referenced earlier in your questions.
There's just one more question that I've been wanting to ask. You would want anyone involved in compromising the integrity of a PUCO chair to be held accountable, wouldn't you?
Objection.
Objection, Your Honor. Unbelievable.
Sustained.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any redirect.
Your Honor, we thank the senator for his time. We have no further questions.
Wow, that was a lot quicker than you expected, sir. You're free to go. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, well, so you guys want to take a short break?
That'd be great, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, just so we can transition time-wise, probably a little earlier than expected. So we'll take a short break. Everyone, rise for the jury, please.
Your Honor, could we have 1 minute on the record before you?
Yeah. You can be seated.
Your Honor, that was clear prosecutorial misconduct on that last question. To ask this witness if our client should be held accountable for actions that was a premeditated, planned out transgression. It was intended to incite this jury. It was thought out. It was. I've never seen anything like that, Judge. I mean, he knew exactly what he was doing and he went for it. Right across the line, jumped into it. Your Honor, given the other transgressions in this case, I would ask you to again reconsider or continue to consider the attempts at misconduct and inflaming the jury and the media against our clients by this prosecutor with his ethics counsel sitting right next to him. Your Honor, this is so far across the line. So far across the line. I can't fathom how Mr. Meyer thinks that that was appropriate. He knows it's not.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, I would officially renew our motion to dismiss this case with prejudice based on the continuing line of misconduct by this prosecutor and the entire prosecutorial team. I think we're at 13 now, Your Honor. I don't know where the breaking point is, but I believe we have passed it, and this case should be dismissed today with prejudice.
Thank you. Want to respond?
Briefly, Your Honor, I've sat through, weeks of the defense asking witnesses about whether Mr. Randazzo stole, whether he was cheating, whether he was guilty. These witnesses have been peppered with questions about whether, their clients intended to be, lobbying or have Mr. Randazzo lobby. My question didn't even approach that threshold.
You're specifically asked the witness whether somebody should be found guilty of the charges that they that was the basic question. Should be held accountable implies a finding of guilt.
No, Your Honor.
That might not be your perception, but
That was not my perception or intent, but the witness's credibility was something that was at issue, and certainly I believe I had a right to explore those issues, particularly when...
His credibility was at issue at the end of that testimony. After everything that he answered, you felt that he was being biased towards the defendant?
Your Honor, credibility goes to a whole host of issues.
I understand that, but after all the questions that you asked, I'm not sure I understand why that question needed to be asked, other than we are going to move on at this point.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
What do you guys have planned for witnesses this morning?
We have another witness, Mr. Lasky. I understand that he has made a media request that probably needs to be dealt with. But then also the witness after that will be Shireen Abadi. And we would like to talk to the court on the record, but outside the presence of the jury, about the report issue that Mr. Meyer raised yesterday.
Obviously. So this next witness, how long is that person going to be? Approximately.
Were you asking about Mr. Lasky?
Yes. Yeah.
About 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes?
45 minutes.
All right. Then we should probably deal with, I don't want to take another break, so we should probably deal with the issue of the expert reports. Do you want, I've not seen them yet, so why don't let me get a hold of those. I understand they were just emailed over this morning.
They were, Your Honor.
And I've not seen them, so I don't know what the difference is. It'd be hard for you to argue them to me if I don't have them in front of me.
Well, I mean, truly, we can short circuit the whole issue because we are not seeking to introduce the report as evidence. There is nothing to exclude it from. So it doesn't, I mean, I'm happy to give fuller argument, but just in that context, we're not seeking to introduce it to anything.
Just to notify the state of the additional things that was considered as a result of the trial.
Exactly, 3 things.
And you indicated that her opinion hadn't changed.
Exactly, the scope, the content of her opinions, her conclusions, her summaries, none of that has changed. We eliminated a reference to evidence that you excluded by order. We made a small mathematical error that was about $30,000 out of $37 million worth of transaction that this expert reviewed. And we included her observations regarding actual trial testimony that was relevant to her analysis. So it was pure notification for the benefit of the state. It does not impact her testimony or opinion, and there's nowhere for it to be excluded from.
So, Your Honor, I haven't had the chance to verify any of that. This was tendered to us late morning yesterday as I'm preparing for 3 witnesses today to cross-examine and working on jury instructions. I haven't had the chance.
I had a lot of stuff to work on yesterday too, and I, got through what I needed to get through. So,
well,
I mean, if you want to sit down with them right now while we're on a break and have them show you the differences in the report, perhaps that would help.
Well, Your Honor, I would need to independently verify that. I can't take their word for it, and I simply haven't had the chance to do that. So if she is going to be offering conclusions based on information that is in this new March 10th report, I would object. I don't object to their September 3rd, 2025 report. I'm prepared for that. I'm familiar with it. And I'm in a position to address what is in that report. I've had the chance to evaluate it carefully. I have not had that chance as to the most recent March 10th report. And that's what Criminal Rule 16K gets at. There was no notice that this would even be coming. If the notice had been given, I could have lined up resources to do this evaluation. And as it stands, I'm in the position of having
So
to
what
essentially...
witnesses are you prepared for? Have you prepared for 3 witnesses yesterday?
So Senator Husted, Mr. Lasky, and Sharina Badi were on the...
Well, if you were prepared for her yesterday, and you had the report in the morning yesterday, because I don't understand why you weren't able.
Yeah, so I can't comb this carefully with the time that I've got, and less than 24 hours, Your Honor, is not what 16K is about.
Do
So,
you have any other witnesses you can call, and we can bring her tomorrow afternoon?
No, Your Honor, we do not. She is here from out of state. We would be willing to wait until after lunch if that'd be helpful to Mr. Meyer. I will also point out that I explained to him in the email exactly what had changed. I invited him to call me if he had an objection, and instead, he was able to draft and file a motion rather than ask for a red line, which I happen to have with me and would be happy to provide. So this has no merit, this objection. There's no surprise. And Ms. Abadi could get on the stand without an amended report and testify about what she observed in this trial. It's not only allowed for an expert to observe trial testimony, but it allows them to provide the very best possible expert opinion that they could provide based on what's actually said by the witnesses in this
Is there
case.
somebody else that could testify this morning if we bring her after lunch? No, so that's the problem. Why don't you provide him with the red line? We're going to take a break, give him the red line to look at, and I'll look at it.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
Do you have the red line for the court as well? Can I make a copy of it?
I will, yes, I will give it to you in just a moment.